Before starting with today's video, I just want to say a massive thanks to all of you. We are about to reach 10,000 subscribers. My dear students, I want to achieve that in this year itself. By the end of December, I want to see those 10k subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, what are you doing? You need to do it right now. I will really appreciate your efforts. Now let's start with today's video. Hi guys, my name is Isha and I teach IELTS and PTE. I know that you guys have been loving our videos a lot. That's why I'm here for the next video for you. In this video, we are going to discuss about the scoring criteria. We are going to discuss about the updated template of 2025, and I am going to practice 7 different types of describe image questions with you, which includes line graph, bar graph, pie chart, and so on. So you have to watch me till the end, and I'm pretty sure that by the end of this video you're gonna ace this question. These are the couple of things that you must know about describe image. First of all, you will be getting 5 to 6 questions and you will be getting 25 to 26 marks from this question that will be solely contributed to the speaking module. You will be judged on the basis of 3 criteria, which includes your content, your fluency, and your pronunciation. Now, when I say content, basically it means that whatever is given in the image, you have to cover the most important aspects from that. It's not that you can just speak out any random things and the way we used to do before the changes. It doesn't work that anymore. And when I talk about fluency, of course, you need to have a flat tone. Your voice should not go up and down, up and down. You do not have to bring variations in your voice. Apart from this, I always mention this in my classes that when I talk about fluency, you have to speak at a natural pace. When I say natural, that means it should be neither too fast nor too slow, very natural. So the system should actually be able to understand each and every word that you're speaking, then only the software will give you score. And talking about third criteria, that is pronunciation, which basically means that every word that you're pronouncing should be correct. The simple tip over here is that if there is any word that is given in the describe image question and you think that that will be a little bit tricky for you to pronounce and you're confused about the pronunciation, it's better to skip that word if it is possible. Now, this describe image question, the biggest twist is that this is double marked. It is marked by AI as well as by a human checker. If AI is going to flag your answer, it is going to go for a human check. Now, how can AI actually flag your answer? If you're going to use the old memorized things, memorized templates, which includes, there is a beautiful image in front of me, let me have a closer look at it, I'm going to speak for this image for 40 seconds. These templates that we used to use before, definitely it is going to give you 0 in content. Now let's move ahead to the updated template of describe image. My dear viewers, many of my students have actually used this template already in their exams and they have been getting 90 out of 90 in the speaking module, so you don't have to doubt this one. Even I have used this template in my exam and I was able to fetch 90 in speaking, as I'm going to show you over here. Let's have a look at the template. So the first line of the template says the line graph, the bar graph, the pie chart, the map illustrates the information about. If you find this word illustrate a little bit difficult, you can even replace it by depicts or shows. The x-axis represents and the y-axis represents. Mention this only if the image is having x-axis and y-axis, or rows and columns. So it can be noted that in this line we are going to mention about the aspect that is maximum along with its percentage, and then we are going to move ahead and we are going to say, however, it can be observed that in this one, we are going to discuss about the aspect that is minimum along with its percentage. Another highlighting feature is, in this one, we can mention about anything which is equal, or if there is nothing equal, then we can discuss about any other 2 random aspects. And then in the last line, we are going to say, overall, it can be concluded that. Over here, we are going to again speak about the maximum as well as the minimum aspects. I am going to do some sample questions for you to give you a better clarity that how you can actually implement this template and get the best possible score, that is 90 out of 90 in this question. Alright, so we are going to practice this first question, that is going to be a bar graph. In your exam, you are going to have 25 seconds of preparation time. You need to have a quick look at the topic. So the topic over here says population of major European countries in 1996 and 2007. And we need to have a look at the x-axis. The x-axis, over here they are showing the countries like Germany, Spain and Turkey. And we need to have a look at the y-axis, which is this one. And over here we can say that it is depicting population in millions from 30 to 90. Apart from that, you need to have a look at the maximum aspect. So over here, the maximum population is in Germany, which is around 80 in both the years 1996 and 2007, whereas the minimum aspect over here is in the category of Poland, because Poland is having minimum population, which is around 40 millions. You don't have to be really exact, even if you want to use the words like approximately or around, it should be totally fine. Over here, if you will consider France as well as Italy, they are having almost equal population, which is around 60 millions. So these will be the three aspects that we'll be discussing in our sample answer. Now I'm going to use the template and I'm going to show you how I am going to frame the answer. So let's have a look at the sample answer. So this is a bar graph. That's why over here I'm going to speak bar graph. So the bar graph illustrates the information about, we are going to speak the topic. So the topic over here is population of major European countries in 1996 and 2007. And then I'm going to say the x-axis represents the countries such as Germany, France and Italy. It's not necessary that you have to speak all the countries that are given over here. Even if you will speak 3 or 4 countries, it should be totally fine. And the y-axis represents the population in millions, that is from 30 to 90. Again, you don't have to speak all the numbers 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Even if you just speak like the minimum and the maximum, like if you just speak it in the range, it should be fine. And then so it can be noted that, like I said, that we are going to discuss about the maximum aspect over here. So you can say so it can be noted that the maximum population, so I have taken this word population from here. You don't have to speak the whole phrase like population in major European countries. You can just pick 1 or 2 words from the heading that is given to you. So over here you can say, so it can be noted that the maximum population is in Germany, that is 80 millions in the year 1996 and 2007. And then we are going to discuss about the minimum aspect over here. Minimum, like I told you, is Poland. So I'm going to say, however, it can be observed that the minimum population is in Poland, that is 40 millions in both the years. So if you want to use the word both the years, you can use both the years, or you can say 1996 and 2007 again. And then we are going to move ahead. We are going to say another highlighting feature is that here I'm going to discuss about France and Italy. Both of them are having equal population, which is around 60 millions. Overall, it can be concluded that in overall, again, you have to discuss about the maximum and the minimum aspect. It's just that you don't have to speak the percentage again over here. You don't have to speak the numbers or the statistical aspect over here again. So you can see overall, it can be concluded that the maximum population is in Germany and the minimum population is in Poland. So you know what, if you're going to practice a couple of questions like this, I'm pretty sure that you'll be alright. I ask my students to practice around 5 bar graphs, 5 line graphs, 5 pie charts, so that you get well versed with it and you can get a good hold on this template. So now we are going to have a look at the sample line graph question. Like I've already told you that you'll be having 25 seconds of preparation time, so you can quickly have a look at the main heading, x-axis, y-axis, the aspect that is maximum, the aspect that is minimum, and if there is something equal, and if there is nothing equal, you can just talk about any other 2 aspects. So let's have a look at this line graph question. As I've already told you that you'll be having 25 seconds, you need to quickly have a look at the topic. The topic over here is the number of laws in Brazil from 1953 to 1993, and then x-axis as well as y-axis, and then the maximum over here is in the year 1993, which is around 2500. The minimum is in 1953, which is almost 0. And in the second last line, we usually say another highlighting feature is, in the case of line graph, I can give you different options. If you think that the graph is directly going upwards, or if the graph is continuously going upwards, then you can say, if the question is related to population, you can say that the population is increasing throughout the period. Or if something is going downwards, then you can say that it is decreasing or declining throughout the period. And if you think that the graph is going upwards and downwards, then you can say that it is showing fluctuation throughout the period. So now I'm going to show you the sample of this line graph question. So over here I can say the line graph illustrates the information about the number of laws in Brazil from 1953 to 1993. The x-axis represents the years from 1953 to 1993, and the y-axis represents the number of laws from 0 to 2500. So it can be noted that the maximum number of laws are in the year 1993, which is around 2500. Now over here, as you can see, it's not really 2500, but I've used the word approximately or around. It's up to you. You can use such words. And then I'm going to move ahead and I'll say, however, it can be observed that the minimum number of laws were in the year 1953, which is almost 0. Another highlighting feature is that this graph is going in the upward direction, or you can also say another highlighting feature is that the number of laws are increasing each year. Now I've taken the word number of laws from the heading over here. If you don't want to say the number of laws, you can just use the word laws as well. And then at the end I'm going to say overall it can be concluded that the maximum laws are in 1993 and the minimum laws are in 1953. So let's move ahead to the third practice question, that is going to be our pie chart. So in this question, I'm not going to explain you the way I've explained you the previous two questions. I'm directly going to speak in the exact way as I'm going to speak in my exam, so that you can get an idea of a sample answer and you can get a hold of the kind of fluency that I usually follow. So one thing that I want to mention, that over here in the case of pie chart, since there is no x-axis and y-axis, so I'm just simply not going to speak that line. Quickly, just in my preparation time, I can have a look that wet care and well-being is maximum, which is around 47%, and pet purchase is minimum, which is around 2%, and the other two aspects that I can discuss definitely includes that 10% is services, grooming and boarding, and 41% is food and litter. So now I'm going to speak my sample answer. The pie chart illustrates the information about the pet expenditure in US. So it can be noted that the maximum expenditure is in the category of pet care and well-being, that is around 47%. However, it can be observed that the minimum expenditure is in the category of pet purchase, that is around 2%. Another highlighting feature is that food and litter is 41% and services, grooming and boarding is 10%. Overall, it can be concluded that the maximum expenditure is in the pet care and well-being and minimum is in pet purchase. So that's the kind of fluency that I usually expect. I know to achieve this fluency, you have to do a lot of practice. What I'm simply trying to say is that do not give abrupt pauses. You can have a natural pace, neither too fast nor too slow. Now, students ask that for how many seconds we have to speak. Approximately, you can speak for around 30 to 35 seconds and it should be totally fine. I don't want you to exaggerate your answer for 40 seconds. If you're trying to speak for 40 seconds, it shows that you're trying to cover a lot of information. And it is not practically possible for a human being to cover all the possible information that is given in the picture in just 40 seconds. So it's better that you speak for around 30 to 35 seconds, but you speak clearly, you speak fluently, and you speak confidently without giving random or abrupt pauses. Now comes the tricky part. I have seen most of the students that they're like, how we are going to do this flowchart, what we have to actually speak, we don't have enough words and all those things. But don't worry, I have got you covered in this question as well. Again, we're going to follow the same structure since this is the flowchart in front of you. And you know, initially when I saw this image, I thought that these are apples, but then I observed that over here it's written tomatoes, and then I realized that over here this is a processing cycle of tomatoes. And of course, in this one we are not going to say x-axis and y-axis, we are just going to simply follow the arrows. The simple tip, if you get a flowchart question, you just have to follow the arrows. Go arrow by arrow and just describe every small step, and that will definitely frame a good answer for you. For the sample answer, I want you to observe it step by step. Over here, if you will see that in the first step, the tomatoes are being collected and they are being kept in a truck. And then if we'll move ahead, you will see that all these tomatoes are then going through a conveyor belt, and these are divided into two different baskets, or you can even use the word crates. And one of these crates is then taken, and then it is going, all these tomatoes are going in a shopping trolley. Now these are the small things, small steps that I have observed in my preparation time of 25 seconds, and now I'm going to compile these. How my structure is helping you, you know, sometimes we fall short of words in our exam. I understand there is exam anxiety and we are too confused, we are sometimes shivering, we are sometimes blank, we don't know what we have to actually speak. That's why I always say that memorize the structure really well, so that every next line you know the start, that okay, I'm going to start with, so it can be noted that. However, it can be observed that another highlighting feature is that overall it can be concluded that it will make things little bit more easier for you. So let's have a look at this sample answer. So I'm going to say the flowchart illustrates the information about processing of tomatoes. So it can be noted that in the first step, so you can use these kinds of words like in the first step, in the second step, in the last step, or you can use the word initially this happened, you know, at the last stage this is happening, something like that. So I'm gonna say, so it can be noted that in the first step the tomatoes are being collected and taken in the truck. However, it can be observed that the tomatoes from the truck are now further going on to the next step, which is a conveyor belt where the tomatoes are separated in two different crates or baskets. Another highlighting feature is that tomatoes from one basket are taken to the last step and further transported in the shopping trolley. Overall, it can be concluded that the picture shows the processing of tomatoes. And now in the overall, again, you can repeat the same topic. If you think that you're falling short of words and short of content, and if you think I don't know what I have to speak, then definitely you can repeat the same things as well. Just try to be fluent, as I've already mentioned. Don't worry too much about your grammar. Don't worry too much about your accuracy. I always say this in my classes as well, that prioritize fluency over perfection. Don't run after perfection to an extent that your fluency is getting affected. Let's move ahead to the fifth question, which is going to be a map. I know whenever you see a map, you feel like, what is this? Why I have a map question in my exam? You feel so unlucky. But don't worry, I am going to make this question easy for you in this video. You know, whenever you get a map in front of you, the simple tip that I always give to my students is, if it is a world map, you just have to focus on 3 or 4 countries that we are going to discuss, and you just have to speak about those 3 or 4 countries. And if it is not a world map, I want you to practice at least 10 map questions. Read the sample answers of those 10 map questions before your exam, and you will get an idea that, okay, if this comes in my exam, this is what I have to speak. If this type of map comes, then this is what I have to speak. If you want me to make the detailed video, you know, about the explanation of different type of map questions, I can even do that. You can let me know in the comment section. So over here in this map, I want you to see the first country, which is over here, that is India. And then the second country that we are going to discuss about is going to be either China or Australia. So if you will see that India is over here and Australia is over here, and then we have China, and then you can discuss about Russia. So these are typically 4 or 5 countries that I have recognized and I've remembered their locations, and that's how I speak. And then the topic over here is that worldwide incident rates per 100,000 female. Let's have a look at the sample answer. The map illustrates information about worldwide incidents per 100,000 females. So it can be noted that the number of incidents in Australia are equal to 8 to 14.9. However, it can be observed that the worldwide incidents in India are from 30 to 44.9. Another highlighting feature is that incident rates in China is less than 8, and in Russia it is around 8 to 14.9. Overall, it can be concluded that the map shows worldwide incidents per 100,000 females. I hope that you're not getting bored by the end of this video. The last question that we're going to discuss is going to be a random image. Whenever you see a random image in front of you, you have to divide that picture into 3 different parts, which includes left side, right side, and center. If you think that the image cannot be divided into left, right, and center, then you can even divide it in the basis of top and bottom. Now let's have a look at this random image over here. As I can see that, you know, on left hand side there is a lady who's running, and there are a lot of trees as well, and a kite is also there in the background. And on the right hand side there is a father and a daughter who are sitting and they're reading a book, or maybe they are enjoying their picnic. You don't have to be that exact. Of course, if we are having 10 different people in a room, 10 different people are going to have 10 different answers for this random image. So you don't have to feel that your answer has to match my answer. Of course, you can have your own opinions and your own views with respect to this picture. And in the center we can see that the dog is there and the dog is barking, or we can even observe that a man is going for a walk. If you are in habit of using the words like I can see, or we can see, these types of templates that we used to use before, then simply replace this word see by observe. You can say we can observe, or you can say I can observe, if you're too stuck with that word, which is I can see as of now also. So this sample answer I'm going to speak in the same way as I usually do in my exam, so that you guys can have a look at my fluency, the way, the tone that I usually follow. So let's start. The picture illustrates information about the park. So it can be noted that on left hand side there are a lot of trees and a woman is running and the person is sitting on the bench. However, it can be observed that on right hand side there is a father and a daughter who are sitting on the mat and spending some quality time together while reading. Another highlighting feature is that in the middle there is a dog and a man is jogging on the track. Overall, it can be concluded that this is a scenario of a park where people are doing different types of activities. I just want to finish this video by saying that practice this question a lot. Try to practice at least 5 bar graphs, 5 line graphs, 5 pie charts, 5 map questions, 5 random images, and so on. If you want me to make more such videos on any specific questions, for example, if you think that you're facing a lot of issues in summarized group discussion and you want me to give you some samples of summarized group discussion questions as well, let me know in the comment section. I'm always there for you. We do provide face-to-face classes here in Blacktown, Sydney, and we do have massive Christmas discounts going on. You can get in touch with us, and we do provide online classes as well. Many of our students have joined our online one-on-one classes from Sydney, from Melbourne, from Perth, from Adelaide, and they have been getting their desired scores in a very limited time frame. If you are also the one who's struggling a lot, if you also think that you need some right guidance, we are here to help you. I'm going to sign off from this video. This is the magic number. You can get in touch with us over here. Do not forget to follow me on my social media handles, which includes my Instagram, Facebook, as well as TikTok. I keep on posting some short form videos as well that can give you some kind of motivation so that you can get your desired score as well. Thank you so much, guys. If you're here till then, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. We are about to reach to 10,000 subscribers, and thanks to all of you for all the love that you've been giving me. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye.